Hello, it's Ruth Goudy, the flower writer here at Kiln Farm Nursery, and today I'm going to show you how to make baskets for shade that will last all year round. I've got two baskets here today, a white themed basket and a purple themed basket. So I'm just adding compost into my basket, peat-free compost. Once I've added the compost, I will then add some fertiliser. You can buy little granules or little tablets that you put in, and then I just stir it up like making pastry. So next, the best bit, the plants. And first of all, I'd like to do a white themed basket because I think white and green can be so soothing, and also it can be lovely in the shade because you can just see that white picking up any light you have got. So I'm going to start with a central fern. Be careful when you buy your ferns. There are some ferns that are evergreen and some that are not. So if you want this basket to last all year, then find a fern that's evergreen. I'm going to use this lovely one here. Oh, can't get it out. There we are. Oh, look at those lovely roots. They're all yellow. Sorry, got carried away. There we are. I'm using a 12-inch basket for the purposes of today to make sure that at the end of it, it looks stunning and full. But you could use a 14-inch basket and let it grow in. As time goes on, what you'll find is the basket does grow and fill out, but all these plants you would then be able to use in the garden. Once I've done the central plant, I then like to do the trailing plants. If I'm using a 12-inch basket, I find I need 3. If I were to do a 14-inch basket, I would use 4. In this example, I'm going to use ivy. If you're worried about the cost, an ivy plant, when you buy them from the garden centre, you'll often find that there are several different little shoots within the one plant in the pot, and you can just separate these. So it doesn't need to cost you too much. You can still separate them nicely and put them in different places. That's what I would usually do, but because it's special for a video, I'm going to put in a whole one today. At the moment, the ivy is quite short, but ivy grows awfully fast. If anything, you'll be having to keep it small and keep it short. So once it gets longer, don't be afraid to give it a little trim, or also even thin it out, because otherwise the ivy can take over the basket. It will put out little separate roots on the base here. You can just see that root there, and that will take in the basket, and if you're not careful, that will smother the rest of the beautiful plants. Next, I'm going to add the violas. You can use violas or pansies. We grow violas and pansies twice a year, once for the autumn and once for the spring. So you should be able to keep your pansies and violas in this basket throughout the year, but you might need to replace them once a year. And there you are, a lovely, soothing, cool basket that grows in the shade and that should survive and look good all year round. And now I'm going to use exactly the same technique to create a purple basket that does exactly the same. It thrives in the shade and survives all year round. So I'm going to start with the central plant, which will be a Heuchera. I'm going to use this one. I love this one. So Heuchera technically is called perennial, but it doesn't lose its leaves completely over winter. So you can just see these are the winter leaves here. They're a little bit darker. And then come the spring, it gets this lovely new growth of the bright colour. Okay, I'm going to put the purple in the centre. It looks fabulous in its own right, I have to say, I think. So there, it fits beautifully into the basket. For my trailing plant, I'm going to use Ajuga. This is really a spreading plant as a perennial. So the Ajuga, rather like the Heuchera, doesn't look as fantastic in the winter, and in fact you might need to give it a little trim, and then in the spring there'll be all these lovely fresh leaves. It does come in different colours. It's a browny one as well as this pinky one. I love the pinky one. And once it starts to grow in the spring, it will then grow and trail over again, and it has the additional bonus in the spring of having these lovely flower spires. It's got a bluish look to it, which looks fantastic against the purple foliage. And so I'm just going to plant the Ajuga in 3s for the 12-inch basket. If you were doing a 14-inch basket, you would need 4. Once I've got that structure sorted, then I can just pop the violas in. I've got a lovely mix here of purples and whites, which I really like. So I'll just pop them in, and they will just give it a little bit of a lightness. And you need to think about, if it's in shade, you do want some light there too. So again, you might prefer just to go for white, but I do like a bit of purple. So if you had a bigger basket, you could put more violas or pansies in, but for this basket, that just fits nicely. So with each basket, what we've done is we've got a downward movement, the upward movement, and some pops of colour and light for that shady location. And make sure you keep watering all year. Often if things are in the shade, it means that there's some kind of canopy, either trees or eaves. So make sure you keep watering and keep adding a little bit of plant food, and these will look lovely all year.